We're about to enter our third season in the Championship, and after narrowly missing out on the playoffs last season, we aim to get back in them again this season as a minimum. It's been a busy summer transfer window. Players have gone, players have come in, and we've actually spent real money for the first time ever. Welcome to the video. It's the new season with Solihull Moors on the road to glory, and we've had a very good start to the season. 6 games played, 4 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat, 13 points. We're 1 point behind top of the table Wolves, who are currently unbeaten, and things are looking pretty decently. We've got a goal difference of +7 as well, which is the best in the league, so that's really good. And as I said in the intro, it's been a busy summer in the transfer window, which has now closed. And yeah, we've bought players in, we've sold players, and we've actually spent money for the first time ever. And I will introduce you to a club record signing. I believe it's the first time we've ever spent money anyway. I'll just have a quick look. But yeah, it is the first time, because we always rely on free transfers from the players that get released in April or May, whenever it is, from their parent clubs. But this season, we've actually, like I say, we've actually spent real money. We've had real money coming in as well, because if we go on the outs section first, the 18th of June was when we started moving players out. Lucas Jensen, our #1 goalkeeper, his minimum fee release clause was activated by Wolves, and they bought him for £5 million. Sam Bradley, who is a superstar youngster for us, I was really sad to see him go, because even though he hasn't done a great deal for us yet, I did have big plans for him in the future. 2-star current ability with 3 to 4-star potential. He's gone to Cardiff for £2.5 million. Like I say, Lucas Jensen going as well. That's £7.5 million coming in, and he's not even their #1 goalkeeper. He's probably their backup goalkeeper, and he left us. So that's down to him. We're in the same division. Doesn't seem like it makes too much sense to me. But in terms of the players that came in from the email on the 11th of June, not April or May, the quality of these are starting to go downhill a little bit. And I think we're kind of getting to the end of the stage where we're going to be bringing these in. So the first one we got in from Arsenal, Nicky Edwards, 2-star current ability with 2.5 to 3.5-star potential. As you can see, he's probably not going to make it here, but he's in the team. He plays right, left and up top. He's got a bit of flexibility about him. Maybe he can do a job for us at some point in the future. Who knows? Matt Owens from Manchester City has come in. He has already played a game for us in the Championship and in the Carabao Cup, both starts as well. Can play anywhere along the attacking midfield three, plus he can play in central midfield as well. If we want to use him as an advanced forward or Mazzala, he can do that. 2-star current ability with 3.5 to 4.5-star potential. Then from Leeds, we got David Wood, 1.5-star current ability with 3 to 4-star potential. Again, he's probably not going to make any real appearances for us, but he's here to give us a bit of oomph in our under-21s. He can play on the left-hand side. We could potentially train him up for the right-hand side as well to give him flexibility, but he's another one of these players that, like we've done with Sam Bradley, we're hoping to, and also Michael Foster as well, we're hoping to be able to sell him on for a bit of a profit later on. Then we had Mohamed Akoto from Liverpool, 18-year-old, 2-star current ability with 3.5 to 4.5-star potential. He could be decent for us, can play left back and centre back. He's 5'10" with a jumping reach of 8 and a heading of 9. He's probably not going to be a centre back for me, I'll be quite honest. Then we have Tanaka Dina from Manchester City, 1.5-star current ability with 4 to 5-star potential. Centre back, 6 foot. Again, he could do it. The common thing you're going to hear from me, or you are hearing from me, is could do a job for us. Lewis Jones, also from Manchester City. He is in our first team. He's the pick of the bunch. 2.5-star current ability with 4.5 to 5-star potential. Has made 6 appearances, scoring 2 goals for us at the moment. 5 of those appearances have come from the subs bench, but he's started both games in the Carabao Cup and he's made a start in the Championship as well. He's got a lot of upside about him, this young lad, and I do really like him. That's what we've done there. If we then move over to when the season ticked over, we'll go through the players out first. Romain Arthur has gone to Sheffield United for £950,000. Again, he's one of those players. He came in from Arsenal. He's not played a game for us. He's now moved on to Sheffield United. He's sitting in their under 21s. Two-star currently with 3.5 to 4.5 star potential. But the whole point of these players, as I say over and over again, is we want to get money for them. We want to make a profit on them. So £950,000, thank you very much. Jay Nichols is another one. He's gone to Charlton for £325,000, rising to £550,000. He came in from Manchester United. He's never played a game for us. He has got 5-star potential though. But we've made potentially £550,000 on him. Joe Newton isn't someone that we brought in as a youngster. He's actually, it's a bit sad to see him go really, because he's the only player we've got or had left that was with us in the Vanarama National when we first started this save. And he's come up from the Vanarama National into League 2, 3 seasons in League 1, 2 seasons in the Championship. As you can see, once he got into the Championship, his play time was restricted quite heavily, but he was very useful. When you look at him down here, 15 assists, 10 assists, 7, 9, 7. He done really well up to League 1 and then didn't really do it when we got into the Championship. It was a level too high for him. But if you'd said to me when I was in the Vanarama National that I'd end up getting £61,000 for him 7, 8 years later, I would have taken that. So I'm quite happy to get money for him. Then we've had a whole load of players go out on loan. Most of these have gone out on loan because they're going to be leaving at the end of the season anyway. Cameron Plain is one of them. He's on a £1,200 total fee. They're paying most of his wages, if not all of his wages. We'll have a quick look, see if we can figure it out. They're paying. He's on 4,100. They're paying 3,200 if he plays, 3,700 if they don't. So yeah, he's off. Isaac Marino has gone out on loan as well to Crawley. Bit of a loan fee for him, not a great deal, but again they're picking up most of his wages. Arman Singh is another one. He's one of our young players again with a bit of potential. He's gone out on loan to Wickham. Again, we're getting a 5.75k loan fee for him. Nathan Coxall is one of their centre-backs, I think, one of their young centre-backs. Yep, he's gone out on loan as well for a 2.2k loan fee. Nicky Edwards has gone to Woking. He's one of their young attacking players. He's also gone out on loan, like I say, to Woking for 3.3k. Ty Soji is one of the players that's gone out on loan. There is a future fee in there. They're paying a £70,000 loan fee. They're picking up the majority of his wages. And there's an optional future fee of £650,000. It won't get taken up because his contract runs out at the end of the season anyway. But I just wanted to get him off their wage bill. And that's basically what we've managed to do with him. If we have a quick look at his contract details, he's on £4,000 a week. And what are they paying? £800 per week for the duration of his life. I'm sure they're paying more of his wages than that. I don't know where that's gone from. But anyway, Oliver Tipton is another one. He was a centre-back, one of their centre-backs last season. £525,000 loan fee, very handy. And there's also an option for them to buy him for just over £5 million. Like I say, they won't take us up on that loan because he's going to be running out of contract at the end of the season. Aberdeen pay wages for the duration of the loan. So all of his £9,000 wages are being picked up by Aberdeen. That is lovely, lovely stuff. And now we move over to the ins. And as you can see, we've actually spent £2.7 million on players. Noah Cooper is the first one that came in. We spent £1.1 million on him from Cambridge. He's their new number one goalkeeper, 3.5 star current ability with 4-star potential. He's an upgrade on Jensen. And we got $5 million for Jensen and paid $1.1 million for him. So I consider that to be a really good piece of business. He started all 6 games for us. He's got an average rating of 7.40. He's doing very well. 24-year-old, can play for Jamaica or England. So it'd be interesting to see if he gets any international caps and how long he stays with us. Then we've got Mamadou Sarr, who I actually think could be one of the better signings we've had, especially on a free transfer, from Lyon. 25-year-old Frenchman, uncapped at the moment at international level. He's played for an array of teams. He's one of those young journeyman type players. Can play with both feet, 17 jumping reach, 12 heading, 6'4". He is a very handy to have centre back, and he is a regular starter for us. He's started all 6 of our league games basically at 7.15. Previously, he was on loan at Hearts in the Scottish Premiership. He's also had games in the French League 2. He's had games in the French Ligue 1 as well. Spent most of his career with Lyon, But yeah, obviously not worked out for him, so he's now here with us in the Championship. Then we have Alex Adam, who's come in on a free transfer as well. Left back, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential, giving real competition to Ricky Dallowell, who is our young left back that we've got at the moment. He has made 4 sub appearances and 1 start. He's got an assist to his name. He's started both of our Carabao Cup games. Really good acceleration, decent pace. He's nice and agile. He's got a little bit about him. I quite like the fact he's here. He's 22 years old as well. Then we had our big money signing, our club record signing, Luciano Simons from Sparta Rotterdam for 1.6 million. 3.5-star current ability with 4-star potential. Centre back, can play left back to a decent standard. Can also play right back to a decent standard as well. Very useful player to have around. 6 foot, can play with both feet. His jumping reach isn't great. His heading's decent for this level, I suppose. But yeah, he is rated our top centre back. Then we move on to Lewis Kumas, who's another player I really like on a free transfer. 3.5-star current ability with 4-star potential. Englishman that can play for Wales as well. He is currently out injured for a couple of weeks. But as you can see down here, he's started 3 Championship games for us. He's got 4 goals at 7.67. And yeah, I really like him. He's very versatile as well. He's got a lot of upsides. In terms of advanced forward, according to this, he's our best advanced forward. Tyrese Hullett doesn't play for us up front. He plays out on the left. So yeah, he's better than Max Mulligan, basically. Then we move on to our final signing, Claudio Tacardi, on a free transfer as well. Another centre-back. We basically needed to improve in our defensive line. You know from previous seasons that our defence has been rubbish. So I'm really happy with the upgrade we've made in our defence. 6'6", by the way. I mean, that is mental. 14 jumping reach, 12 heading. He's had 2 starts, 3 sub appearances. He's not scored a goal yet. I'm kind of wanting to see him getting like 10 goals a season from corners, basically. But yeah, him and Luciano Simons are our 2 better centre-backs, with Mamadou Sarr in there as well. I do kind of favour Mamadou Sarr at the moment, I must admit. And that is basically our ins and our outs. If we have a look at our tactic, at the team we put out at the moment, we've got Cooper here in goal, Sarr and Simons as our 2 first-choice centre-backs. Tacardi, who's on the bench, our lovely little 6'6", he does have to play a certain amount of games because he's in on an ESC work permit, same as Luciano Simons. So there is every possibility that we end up doing that and have Tacardi and Simons playing together. But Tacardi and Simons are both very handy. Like I say, the fact they can play right or left as well. We don't really need them because we have Leo Shahar, that if we move him up where Jay Ben is, he can be an option for us there at right back. And Alex Adam is basically the same as Ricky Dallowell there. So our squad as a whole is just looking so much better this season. We've got the midfield combination of Garrett, Rowe and McArdle in front of him. Ryan McArdle is obviously my main man. I absolutely love this boy. We got him in from Arsenal on a free transfer. He's been here for, this is 6th season now. First season didn't play for us, but he's been a first team regular ever since. And he's got 37 goals and 32 assists from 165 games at an average rating of 7.13. He is my main boy, that one. Then we have Capel Richardson on the right. This is kind of Capel Richardson's last season for me to be able to make an impact for us, because he's just, I don't know, there's just something I don't vibe with him, I suppose. He is being trained as this. He does play as this. He's played for us all last season in that role. 42 appearances, 5 goals, 10 assists at 6.78. They're not bad figures, but I kind of just want a bit more. Tyrese Hullett out here on the left-hand side. I like this boy. He's very, very good. And again, he's been with us for quite a few seasons as well. This is the kind of performances I want from Capel Richardson. 41 appearances, 12 goals, 10 assists at 6.98. If Richardson can match that this season and Tyrese Hullett can carry on as well, then I'll be very happy with these 2 youngsters. Hopefully their current ability improves the more they play for us, basically. Then we've got Lewis Jones up top at the moment. Like I say, we do have Max Mulligan, who's around here somewhere. We have brought in, from the youth team, we brought in Patsy Morrissey, he's coming. We got him originally from Liverpool. He's at Notts County last season. He's in our first team. Prosper Nati is up there, as is Ian Holder, who was here last season. Matt Owens and Lewis Kumas down here. Both of them injured at the moment. But yeah, it's a small squad. It's a squad of what? We've got 11 there, 20, 1, 2, 3, 24 players in our squad. But when you look at our dev centre, under 21s is a strong squad. Under 18s is a strong squad. Bear in mind, when we first joined this club, we didn't have an under 18s, I think it was. We just had an under 21s, or it might have been we had an under 18s, but not an under 21s. It took us a couple of seasons before the board agreed to give us the other squad, the under 21s, I think it might have been. And that's where we've been getting the free transfers in at the end of each season, adding it to the under 21 squad. If we have a look at the actual squad, there's really good potential players in here, even all the way down here to 4 stars. There's goalkeepers. We've got every position covered with our under 21s. If we have a look at our under 18s as well, there's some decent potential in there. Not as good, but there is some decent potential in there as well. But with how strong our under 21 squad is, I do want to use some of these players. I mean, Matt Owens is currently out injured, but we've got David Wood that can play on the left-hand side. He can do a job here, just needs to continue improving, really. We have Glenbrook Dawson, who is a central midfielder. He's being trained as the Mazzala at the moment, but 5-star potential. Got him in originally from Manchester United. We just want these players to do the job for us, so we can have plenty of homegrown options if and when we ever get to the Premier League. And I've got to say, I don't think we're far off being in the Premier League. Like I say, we're second at the moment. I don't think we're going to go up automatically this season. We've had a very decent start to the season in terms of who we've played. We've played Derby, that are rock bottom. We've played Peterborough, who are in the relegation zone. Barnsley, who are not far away from the relegation zone. Middlesbrough, that are around mid-table. But we've drawn against against Sheffield United and lost against Brentford. So once we played the teams with more quality, we have come a little bit unstuck. If we have a look at the schedule, friendlies are what they are. First game of the season was against Sheffield United, a 2-2 draw. Lewis Kumas and Tyrese Hullet scoring for us in that one. Leo Shahar getting sent off in the 64th minute. I was not impressed with that. Then we played Carlisle in the Carabao Cup first round. As you'd expect, we had a heavily rotated team. 0-0, we won on penalties. We won, that's the main thing. Then we played Derby, 3-0 win in that game. 2 goals from Lewis Kumas and a goal from Lewis Jones. Then we played Peterborough and won 2-0 in this game as well. Lewis Kumas and a Jake Barrett penalty in the 96th minute. Then we played Barnsley, a 2-0 win there as well. Max Mulligan and Jake Garrett with another penalty in that game. Then we played Middlesbrough and won 2-0 in that game as well. 2-0 is our favourite scoreline by the looks of it. Capel Richardson and Tyrese Hullet getting the goals in that game. Then we played Coventry in the Carabao Cup second round. We drew 1-1 and then we won on penalties. So both rounds we go through on penalties. Then in our most recent league game, we played Brentford and we came unstuck. We was away from home. And Buemo with a couple of goals and Armando Broja with a goal as well. A 3-1 defeat against Brentford. We have Newcastle at home next in the Carabao Cup third round. We have beaten them in the past, so there is a possibility. They are 7th in the Premier League at the moment. But then after that, we play Wolves, who are currently top of the table. So the games are starting to get a bit harder in the league. So I wouldn't be surprised if we start to fall away a little bit from where we are at the moment. I do think we're good enough. If we can avoid a major amount of injuries, as long as we don't get crippled by injuries, I think we're definitely good enough for the playoffs. And that's really where I want us to be. In terms of what the club want, avoid relegation from the Championship, I'm basically untouchable as far as they're concerned. It's an A+. The supporters think I'm an A+ as well. Everybody's happy with everything that I am doing, and so they should be. If we have a look at the finances, we have like £6.3 million in our transfer budget, and we still have £15,000 to spend in the wage budget as well. And our bank balance is currently on £8 million. So we are looking pretty decent. The projection does not look particularly good, but we'll ignore the projection for the time being. In terms of debts and loans, we have only a 1.094 net debt, which is really good considering we're paying off this bank loan for the build of our new stadium. And our transfer debt is only £222,500 as well. That will probably grow as time goes on, but financially, I think we're looking in a very decent position, actually. If we have a look at dynamics, team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is good, managerial support is excellent. Have a look at the hierarchy. Does everybody love me? Almost. I mean, everybody loves me except for this guy here, John Hamill, who's our backup goalkeeper. I mean, dude, you need to get on board with everybody else because they all absolutely adore me and I don't blame them for the job I'm doing at this club. This has been a really fun save so far and I can't wait to play through the rest of this season and see how we get on. Can we live up to the expectations that I have that are far more adventurous, shall we say, than the board? The only way to find out is by playing through the season. So I'll see you in part 2. And we are top of the championship. 29 games played, 19 wins, 7 draws, 3 defeats. A goal difference of plus 36 with 64 points on the board. We are 4 points ahead of Sunderland, who look like being the team that's most likely to challenge us for the title. We're 7 points ahead of Sheffield United at the moment. There's still, 17 games to play. So we're nowhere near guaranteed automatic promotion to the Premier League. But we are on the way. We're getting closer and closer with every passing day. If we have a look at the schedule quickly, and when you were last with me in part 1, we were about to play Newcastle United, I believe, in the Carabao Cup. We played that game with pretty much a full strength side as well. Usually I do rotate and go with the backup players in the Carabao Cup, but we had Newcastle, so I thought I'd better put out a strong team. We won 2-0. A goal from Richard Farrell, 1 goal from Lewis Jones as well. We then played Wolves in the league with a 1-0 win thanks to Therese Hullett before a 0-0 draw against West Brom. That was really disappointing. West Brom were like 24th in the league, bottom of the league at the time, and they're 22nd now, so they're not doing a great deal better. Then we played Norwich, that were up there in the playoffs. We won that 3-2. Kumas, Hullett and Alex Adam with a goal in that game. Then we played Birmingham. Again, we're another team that were down by the bottom of the table. I mean, they're 17th at the moment. So again, they're still not doing great. But a 0-0 draw there. We're beating teams like Wolves and Norwich. And then we're drawing with the likes of West Brom and Birmingham. It was very frustrating. Then came Fulham. They were just above mid-table. I think 9th, 10th, something like that. We beat that, we draw with them, 2-2 with goals from Kumas and Sarr. You're going to hear the name Kumas a lot because he has been sensational. More on him in a minute. We then played Charlton that were down in the lower half of the table. We beat them 2-1 away from home. Kumas and Teddy Rowe with a goal in that game. Then Plymouth, we beat them 4-0 away from home. We fielded a much rotated team in this game with Max Mulligan getting a goal, Dallowal getting 2 goals and Hullett getting a goal as well. Then came Lincoln and we beat them 3-1. Hullett, Kumas and Dallowal with a goal in that game. Then came the Carabao Cup 4th round game. And I mean, we gave a really good account of ourselves. Lewis Kumas scoring a hat-trick against Arsenal, but ultimately we lost in an absolute goal fest, 5-3. We did take the lead through Kumas, but then they got back into it in the 20th minute, and then they went 2-1 up in the 34th minute before Kumas equalised again to make it 2-2. But then they went 3-2 up through this Van Leuven player before we then pulled it back to 3-3. And then on half-time, club legend Bukayo Saka made it 4-3 before Van Leuven completed his hat-trick to make it 5-3. So we're out of the Carabao Cup at the 4th round stage. Then came Swansea. We beat them 2-1. Lewis Kumas and Capel Richardson with a goal. If you remember, I said in part 1 that this is a big season for him. It's make or break as to whether he carries on with us as our right-sided inside forward. We then played Stoke and drew 3-3. Therese Hullett with a hat-trick in this game, including an equaliser in the 92nd minute. Then came Rotherham. We won 1-0. Leo Shahar with a goal in that game. Then Hull at home, we won 4-1. Kumas with 2 goals. Garrett and Jay Ben with another goal. Sunderland were next up. We lost 2-0 to them away from home. Then we were back home at the Solihull Moors Stadium, a 2-2 draw against Blackburn Rovers. Richard Farrell and Matt Owens in a much rotated team in that game. Probably shouldn't have rotated. It cost us points in the long run. Then we played Luton Town and won 2-0 away from home against them. Lewis Kumas with 2 more goals. Reading were up next. They were the next team to come to the Solihull Moors Stadium and we beat them 4-1. Ryan McArdle, Lewis Kumas, Ricky Dallowal and Lewis Jones getting on the score sheet. Then a defeat at home against Nottingham Forest in a very disappointing game. Leo Shahar sent off for the second time this season. Blackburn Rovers was the return game against Blackburn Rovers. The away game, Ryan McArdle with 2 and Claudio Tacardi with a goal in that game as centre-back. Then we had West Brom at home, the return fixture from when we dropped points to them early on. Where are they here? Where we dropped points against them early on in the season. A 2-0 win in that game. Both goals from Richard Fowle in, again, another rotated side as we're trying to keep players fit and away from the injury table and all this sort of stuff. Then we played Norwich, a 1-1 draw in that game. Teddy Rowe with a goal. Then we had the start of our FA Cup run, and we had Sheffield United at home in the FA Cup third round, a 2-0 win in that game. Charlton were then up next in the league, a 5-2 win in that game. A hat-trick again for Lewis Kumas and 2 goals from Lewis Jones as well. Fulham at Craven Cottage was next, a 4-0 win. Ryan McArdle with a goal, Lewis Kumas with 2 and Teddy Rowe with a goal as well. Then we played QPR in the FA Cup fourth round. Now, I looked at this, I thought, oh, QPR, they must be probably League One, because I don't recall them being in the Championship. They're actually a Premiership team. They're rock bottom of the Premier League, but they are a Premier League team. And then we played Plymouth with a 3-2 win against them. Lewis Kumas with 2 more and Jake Garrett getting a goal as well. We have Lincoln up next in the league. And in terms of the FA Cup, the fifth round, we play either Burton Albion, who are in League One, 9th in League One, or Bournemouth, which is the most likely option. They are currently 15th in the Premier League. So we're probably going to have Bournemouth in the fifth round of the FA Cup. Can we continue this FA Cup run? I really hope so. So I do love the FA Cup, and I love a little run in the FA Cup. So this is our competitions page. Sky Bet Championship, top of the table. Fifth round of the FA Cup, knocked out in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. I do have some transfer news to bring you because, as you know, I do every April when we get the email come through of Premier League clubs that release their young players. I always bring them in and give them a trial and sign the really good ones. And we've had to sell one of them, one of our first teamers as well, because we had an offer come in. And the player we sold is Ricky Dallowell. He has gone to Cardiff for $2.5 million. Now, again, this comes back to what I've said previously with other players that have left us recently. It didn't make much sense because Cardiff at the moment are 19th in the Premier League. They're likely to get relegated, let's be quite honest. And when you look at how well we're doing, we're likely to at least put in a promotion push. And he's decided to turn down an offer from us to stay, to go to Cardiff. It's the pull of the Premier League at the end of the day. That's what it is. Cardiff originally came in with 1.1 million up front and about 800,000 in instalments. It was just under 2 million, the overall value of their offer. I turned it down because he has a £2.5 million release clause in his contract. He came to me very unhappy because he wanted to go to Cardiff. So Cardiff then came back with a £2.5 million offer, which matched his release clause. Nothing I could do about it. He went. But the whole point of having these players is that when they leave and we get money for them, we invest that money in the squad and also into the club so that we keep ourselves afloat and all this sort of stuff. It's one of the reasons why we sold Romain Arthur for £950,000. If we go back at previous seasons, where Michael Foster was a young goalkeeper for us that went to Swansea for £550,000. I mean, Michael Foster's playing in the Europa League, so it's kind of worked out okay for him. He's not playing... Where is he at the moment? He's Hibernian? What's happened here? So he left us for £550,000. He's now gone to Hibernian for $625,000, never having played a game for Swansea. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, like Michael Foster, who I had high hopes on being a first-choice goalkeeper for us in the future. When he left, who else was there? There's a couple of other players that left as well. I mean, Sam Bradley and Lucas Jensen, $7.5 million for them too. If we go back to the following season, Tabang Timani went for $650,000, rising to $1 million again to Swansea. And Ahmed Hassawi, the one that really hurt last season, going to Ipswich for £525,000. They are mid-table in the Premier League, so to be fair to him, it's kind of worked out. But then when you look at him here, he's not playing any football for them. He's played one game since he got there. He's not played a single game this season. he is such a highly talented player, and his career is going to go to waste because he's gone to Ipswich that are not playing him, whereas he was a first team regular for us. So that's the kind of thing I say just doesn't really make sense sometimes. But I'm just bitter about it and I need to get over it, quite honestly. In the meantime, with the £2.5 million that we've had come in, we've reinvested it into the squad. Callum Logan has come in. He's a centre-back, can also play left-back as well. 6'2", very good jumping reach. Heading. But he's a backup centre-back, like I say, that can also play left-back. 3-star current ability with 4-star potential. 24 years old. He's got a lot of upsides to him. He's coming from Sheffield United. Very surprised I was able to get him for £1 million as well, but they were happy to let him go. He, as you can see here, he wasn't playing for them. He'd done, these are probably loan spells. Yeah, loan at Bristol Rovers, loan at Stockport, in League One basically. But yeah, he's here for £1 million. And then Vali Kanate from Dunkirk for £1 million. He's French, can play for the Ivory Coast. I think his 2 caps have actually come from the Ivory Coast. He's also 24 years old, 3-star currently, 4-star potential left back. He will be our new first choice left back now. So with the money from Dallowell, we've got a first choice left back coming and a very, very good and capable backup centre back. And we've still got £500,000 profit out of that as well. So that is the reason why we bring in these younger players. It just works all round for us. If we have a look at the finances, we have 3.6 million in the bank, £6 million transfer budget left. We did up the wage budget to go to 204.9 thousand because we was overspent on our wage budget otherwise. In terms of dynamics, team cohesion is good, club atmosphere is very good, managerial support is excellent. And what I was saying about Lewis Kumas, he's a top goal scorer in the Championship. 21 goals in the Championship so far. If we have a look at his actual history, he's 21 goals and 1 assist, 4 Player of the Match awards from 24 appearances. That is an amazing return from him. And if he ends up being the Championship's top scorer, I will be very, very happy. And as you see from his form chart, he does do very well. His training is all going in the right direction. 25 years old. If we are in the Premier League next season, he will absolutely be our first choice striker. Really happy with that boy. There's Noah Cooper's done pretty well as well. He's top of the clean sheets table. We've also had emails come through that he's been man of the match and all this sort of stuff. If we have a look down here, 3 times he's won player of the match in the Championship, 27 goals conceded in 29 games, 13 clean sheets. He has been very, very good, and he was absolutely worth bringing in for just 1.1 million when we sold Lucas Jensen for 5 million, of course. And like I say, that money that we've had come in from previous player sales, we've still got it sitting in a transfer budget. We haven't had to use it yet. If we have a look at the dev centres, we have had a youth intake preview come in. It looks absolutely rubbish. Below average intake. The best rated players are wide midfielders that are rated a D. So we will probably still look to bring in some of those players that have been let go by the Premier League clubs, just so we can keep adding players to our dev centre, basically, because like I say, this has been pretty rubbish. And that is pretty much all there is to bring you. It's been an action-packed first half and a bit of the season. We've got the final push to go. Maybe we can move on in the FA Cup. But the big question is, are we going to be playing Premier League football next season? And we have won the Championship. 94 points, 27 wins, 13 draws, 6 losses, a goal difference of plus 41. Brentford was second. They were, 8 points behind us. And then Sunderland 1 point behind them. So it's been a fantastic season. Lewis Kumas, I'm a little bit concerned about because he's, since the last time you saw me in part 2, at the beginning of February, he scored just 2 goals. And that is not particularly good. We got knocked out in the FA Cup by Bournemouth as well. If we have a look at the schedule. So yeah, the last time you saw us was after we played the game against Plymouth and before we played the game against Lincoln. And we beat Lincoln 2-1 away from home, a 2-1 win away from home as well against Middlesbrough. Then we played Brentford at home, a 2-2 draw in that game. Birmingham were up next, a 4-0 win in that game at home. Swansea, we then lost 3-0 to Swansea before a 1-1 draw against Wolves. Then came the FA Cup game against Bournemouth. And we were in a little bit of a sticky spell here because 5 games, just 1 win in 5 games in all competitions. And things were looking a bit iffy. I don't mind admitting. But then we got Stoke at home, and again, not a great performance, a 1-0 win, followed by another just about got their 1-0 win against Rotherham. Then we lost to Hull 1-0. We drew with Derby 2-2, and then a 1-0 win against Sheffield United, which again was another. Well, we got the 3 points. We'll take that and leave basically. Then we had a 1-0 win against Barnsley, followed by a 2-2 draw at home against Peterborough United and a 1-0 win at home against Luton Town. Then we lost 2-0 to Reading, followed by a 1-1 draw against Sunderland and a 0-0 draw against Nottingham Forest. So really, since February, the 4-0 win against Birmingham was probably our best result. All the other games, we've kind of just about done enough to get there. We really did fall off a little bit in this part of the season, and it was quite concerning. Probably a good job we built up the lead that we had in the first half of the season, because certainly from the start of February onwards, we were not at our fluent best. I don't mind it, and I can't really blame it on injuries or anything like that either. But yeah, that does mean in the Championship we did finish top. Kumas, unsurprisingly, didn't finish as a top goal scorer. What is quite surprising is he was only 1 goal behind Matheus Cunha, who finished on 24. If Kumas had played in the second half of the season the way he had in the first half, he would have had 30 plus goals this season. But either way, it's been a good season for him, and I'm very, very happy with him. Noah Cooper finished top of the clean sheets table as well. If we have a quick look at the stats to see how we've done from our beloved set pieces and corners, because I've not actually checked this. Goals from corners, we are joint second with 15, only 1 goal away from Norwich that finished it as top. In terms of direct free kicks, we had 1 goal direct from a free kick, and indirect free kick, we didn't have a single goal from an indirect free kick. One of only 3 teams to have not scored from an indirect free kick. So maybe that's something we need to look at for next season, because being in the Premier League, we're going to have to rely on set pieces to actually try and survive relegation. The thing I have to look at now is, do we do the kind of season where we just take the money, accept relegation, take the parachute payments and try and come back up again in a season or two's time from the Championship back into the Premier League? Or do we spend all the money and give the Premier League a really good go for it? And talking of money, we got our budgets set for the new season. And I don't mind admitting, in terms of the transfer budget, my jaw hit the floor. We've got a £42 million transfer budget. That is just incredible. It really is. Our wage budget has been more than doubled. We were on £204,000 wage budget previously. We're now on 447. That being said, Ryan McArdle, as soon as we got confirmed to be promoted and we had our budget set and all that, less than 24 hours later, Ryan McArdle came and saw me saying he wanted a brand new contract. We have given him that brand new That's Jake Garrett, not Ryan McArdle. Where's Ryan McArdle gone? Let's go to the tactics screen. He'll be in my first team. There you go. He's currently on £9,500 a week. He has got a new contract agreed for £22,000 a week. If every player we get is going to want £20,000 a week, £25,000 a week, that extra wage budget is not going to go very far. Bearing in mind, I did also put in he has currently got a £12.5 million release fee in his contract. I don't think he's got a new one, or got one in his new contract. I did make an offer for a player as well, a right-sided inside forward, because Capel Richardson has not done it for me this season. Prosper Nati is someone that I will keep around because he's very useful and play right and left. He's got some decent potential about him as well. We'll need a homegrown quota for the Premier League, so it's worth keeping him around. Capel Richardson, he then came to me wanting a new contract as well. And his figures for the season, 2 goals, 8 assists. He's down on what he was last season. I've kind of lost patience with him a little bit. So I'm looking at moving him on in the summer, or just bunging him in out reserves, under 21s, whatever. But if we can get a bit of money, I mean, he's got less than $1 million as his valuation. That may go up with a Premier League status, who knows. But yeah, just kind of not feeling it with him. So I made an offer for a right-sided inside forward, and he wanted like £40,000 a week. And we ended up not agreeing terms, and I've walked away from the deal. But £40,000 a week for a player, our wage budget is going to get smashed. If we look at our wage budget at the moment, Teddy Rowe is currently a top earner on 13,250, with Callum Logan 11.5 and Prosper Narty 11,000. I mean, he's actually on a high wage for someone that's probably not going to be a first teamer. But Ryan McArdle, when his new contract kicks in, he's on £22,000 a week. And let's face it, we're going to have a lot more players who are going to be wanting new contracts now that we're in the Premier League. And like with Capel Richardson, I just had to look at him and say, I'm sorry, but you're not worth... I think he wanted something like £16,000 a week. Bear in mind, he's on just under 3 now. I'm not prepared to give him that amount of money. So I've got to make a lot of big decisions in regards to that. In terms of players that are leaving at the end of their contract, Cameron Antwi, I have set him for release. He will be leaving. He's the club's all-time appearance maker, 268 appearances for us. Cameron Plain will be leaving. Soji, Tipton, Hamill, I'm kind of undecided about at the moment. I kind of think we might keep him around. He's got a little bit of potential, but I do want a better goalkeeper as a backup. Jake Garrett doesn't. He's still got another year. The one I'm really torn about is this guy here, Jay Ben, because he's not good enough, let's be honest. And if we have a look at his history, he played for us in our first season at Solihull Moors in the Vanarama National League. He then left for a couple of seasons because he had to go back to Lincoln, his parent club, where he never featured for him. He then spent a year on loan at Morecambe and came back to us 3 years later in our first season in League One. So he played for us in the Vanarama National, didn't play in League Two for us, but did play in League One and the Championship, and now we're in the Premier League. I kind of want him to be my Jamie Vardy. The difference being Jamie Vardy was good enough to play for Leicester, whereas Jay Ben is probably not good enough to play for us in the Premier League, and I'd just be giving him a contract for the sake of it. But yeah, it kind of breaks my heart to let him go. I want that player that has been with us since the Vanarama National League. So don't be surprised if he does sign a brand new contract with us. We are at the stage where we've got our end of season emails that have come through. The supporter profile, the core is up to 24%, the fair weather is up to 14%, family is down to 27%, hardcore is down to 7%, corporate is down to 2%, and casual is down to 26%. The supporters' influence on the board is moderate. We've gained 61.3 thousand followers on social media. What I do want to have a look at the moment, yeah, has got it up here as well. Board alert, takeover in progress. Due to the club being in a takeover process, we have altered the 5-year plan. Until the situation has been resolved, we will hold off with setting any long-term plans. It's not a tycoon or anything like that. I'm not one of these people that's lucky to always get a tycoon takeover. I never get one. But there's a consortium that's looking to take over the club. I doubt anything will happen. But what I will say is in the club info screen, this is interesting because this estimated value does change. At the beginning of the season, our estimated value was 82.3 million. It did at one point go up to 113 million. It's now down to 110 million. So that will be interesting. I have also tried to improve these, but the board have rejected everything. I think it's basically because of the situation we're in. When we look at finances, we are slightly in debt in our bank balance. That's not my problem though. This is my problem. And yeah, let's get back to this. So the club vision and expectations meeting, attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier Division. I'm quite certain that if we get relegated next season, my job will be perfectly safe. And it is very much the case of, do I just go with what I've got, make 1 or 2 additions just to try and make it that we don't get battered in every game. But we've seen that we can pick up results against Premier League clubs now. So could we just do that and just accept a relegation because it would improve the finances of the club? We'll have to wait and see. Plans will be set when the club ownership is resolved, so that will no doubt change. Squad dynamics is wonderful. Plans for next season. This would be interesting. I mean, basically, we just need to say we'll try and avoid relegation. Talk about Premier Division aims. We don't want to say we can avoid it. We all know it's going to be tough for us next season. We'll probably come back down. I don't want to say we'll probably come back down. We've done brilliantly to go up, but we all know we're in for a tough season ahead. I want you to all know that I'll be sticking with you to fight as hard as possible to avoid relegation. We'll say that. they're satisfied. That's fine with me. That's all I wanted to hear. That's all for now. Leave them happy. Leave them with a smile on their face. Lovely, lovely stuff. Right, let's just skip through the rest of this. The chairperson is looking to step aside. It is rumoured that Eels is looking to relinquish control of the club, allowing another member of the board to take his place. Right, I'll let you know when that gets resolved, and we'll move over to the end of season review as well. This is our youth intake, by the way. It's not been great. There's a few decent potentials, top talents. There's no elite talents, but there's a right back, there's a defensive midfielder, another defensive midfielder, and another right back. So a couple of right backs and a couple of defensive midfielders that have a bit of potential. There is also this that's come through. Tycoon eyes Solihull Moors. We've seen and heard this before. Sky Bet Championship team Solihull Moors could soon be the subject of a takeover bid amid rumours that current chairperson Daryl Ills is looking to leave the club. The coach's voice is reporting that a mystery foreign tycoon is looking to complete a buyout of the club and invest large sums of money in new players and facilities. If the tycoon takeover happens, I will eat my hat. That's how confident I am that it's not going to happen, but we shall see. And here we are for the end of season review, a lovely little championship trophy on the board there. And let's have a look at the new arrivals. So Callum Logan came in for £1 million from Sheffield United. No goals, 1 assist, 9 appearances, 3 from the start, 6 as a sub, 7.23 came in the January transfer window. Noah Cooper, who's come in from the start of the season, their new #1 goalkeeper, £1.1 million from Cambridge. He did have a 1.8 or has got a £1.8 million release clause in his contract. I have offered him a new contract. I think it's for about £35,000 a week. He was on 9.75 previously, but we have managed to get the release clause moved up to £12.5 million. So if we end up getting £12.5 million given to us for him, that will be a very substantial profit on the £1.1 million that we paid for him. Lewis Jones came in from Manchester City, one of our 3 youngsters. 12 starts, 34 sub appearances, 13 goals, 2 assists at 7.07. He has been a very good player for us, a real success. Mamadou Sarr has come in from Olympic Lyon's second team on a free transfer. 46 appearances, 31 of them as a start, 2 goals, 1 assist at 7.05. He will be leaving the club at the end of the season. We're getting money for him. More about that in part 1 of next week's video. But basically, he wanted to play as a wide centre-back. Apparently, I promised him that in his contract, which I'm very surprised because I always take that out when it says play player in preferred position. I don't play 3 at the back, so therefore I can't play him as a wide centre-back. So therefore, he wanted to leave. So I put him up for sale and we've got money for him coming in. Lashano Simons was in next, £1.6 million, a club record signing. 44 starts, 2 sub appearances, no goals but 5 assists at 7.04. 23-year-old centre-back, can also play left and right. Very good player he is. Lewis Kumas from Sunderland, 46 appearances, 26 goals, 2 assists at 6.93. His form in the second half of the season has really impacted this and this, because if he had carried on in the second half of the season the way he was in the first half, I think he would have got signing of the season, to be honest. Claudio Taccardi came in from Inter Milan, or Blue Neri as it's now known. And he was on a free transfer as well. Again, he's a 22-year-old centre-back, can play anywhere across the back. 36 appearances, 1 goal, 1 assist at 6.87. With him and I believe Simons as well, they're both on ESC work permits. So hopefully they've played enough games where they will qualify for an actual proper work permit, an adult work permit. Alex Adam was the next one in from Leeds on a free transfer. 27 appearances, 9 as a sub, 1 goal, 2 assists at 6.86. He's been very decent as well. Vali Kanate came in the January transfer window from Dunkirk, £1 million, 10 starts, 4 sub appearances, 6.84, got 2 assists. And Matt Owens also came in from Manchester City, 18 appearances, 3 goals, 1 assist, 6.78. He's been looking pretty decent as well, to be fair to him. In terms of the transfers out, Adam Wills, Joe Newton, Lucas Jensen, their big money signing, left for Wolves. He's made 5 adult appearances, 1 sub, 7.07. Fine, okay, if that's what I want to do. Joe Newton doing well at Sabadell as well. They got him for 61,000. Romain Arthur left. Ricky Dalaval has gone to Cardiff. He's made 16 appearances, so at least he's getting proper starts for the £2.5 million they paid for him. Sam Bradley, who also went to Cardiff for £2.5 million, hasn't made a single appearance. Jay Nichols left for £550,000. Jacob Batty and Elijah Dixon-Bonner as well. By the looks of it, they don't even have clubs, them two. And that is, it's very surprising in Elijah Dixon-Bonner's case, because he was quite a decent player, actually. If we move over to the season's results, the Sky Bet Championship finished first. They wanted us to attempt to avoid relegation. Well, we've done more than that. We won the league. And it was a very good season. A+. I love Solihull Moors Football Club. I really do. In terms of the FA Cup, one of our worst years this year. We only got to the fifth round. And the Carabao Cup, we got to the fourth round of that as well. Went out to Arsenal in the Carabao Cup and Bournemouth, 2 Premier League teams in the cup competitions. Moments to remember: the biggest win was a 4-0 win against Plymouth. The match to remember was a 2-0 Carabao Cup win against Newcastle. And the goal of the season was from Jones, top quality strike from Moors forward Jones, Lewis Jones this is, as he scores a thunderous free kick from 26 metres. The only goal we scored from a free kick, but at least we know Lewis Jones can take them. In terms of the finances, broadcast revenue has gone down because we didn't do as well in the FA Cup and Carabao Cup and that. Same with competition prize money, significant drop in that one. The matchday and commercial retail was up slightly, as was the corporate and hospitality, and the sponsorship was up slightly as well. 4 new deals for sponsorship, 153k per year. So that's what's helped that one. In terms of the merchandise sales, £640,000 made from merchandise sales, 1.19 thousand of that coming from non-domestic. We sold 160 shirts. McArdle, Kumas, Rowe, Jones and Van Concelos among the top shirt sales. He won't be here for much longer. He's probably going to be here for next season because no one wants him, but he won't be in my plans. In terms of how we lined up, this was what they think is my preferred 11. Noah Cooper in goal, Dallowell left back, Ben right back, Sarr and Simons in the centre. Yeah, don't really disagree with that. Maybe not Dallowell anymore. Garrett, Rowe and McArdle in midfield, absolutely. Hullett and Richardson out wide with Kumas up top. Yeah, that's pretty much how I went for most of the season, to be honest. Only 2 players from there have got into double figures for assists, Teddy Rowe and Capel Richardson. I mean, maybe Capel Richardson isn't as bad as I think he is. In terms of goals scored, Kumas was their top one. Hullett also had 12 from the left-hand side, and that's kind of what I want Richardson doing as well, but he hasn't. In terms of the accolades, most clean sheets by a player in a season, Noah Cooper for 23. Most league appearances by a player, Cameron Antwi with 268. And the highest transfer fee paid for Lashano Simons for 1.61 million. I think that's going to get broken this summer. Fans player of the season is Ryan McArdle. The young player of the season is Ryan McArdle. Sign of the season is Noah Cooper. Goal of the season is Lewis Jones. Top goal scorer, Lewis Kumas. Most assists, Teddy Rowe. I mean, it's Teddy Rowe and the other guy, Capel Richardson as well. Most player of the match was Teddy Rowe for 4. Highest average rating was Noah Cooper, and most passes completed per 90 minutes is the soon-to-be departed Mamadou Sarr. And I've got no man of the match. I'm quite surprised at that. I've got no manager of the month awards, considering I've managed the team that's won the league. So, yeah, a bit surprised at that. There's a Sky Bet Championship table. There's their trophy. That spell of football in the middle of the season was the making of Solihull Moors. It really set them up for success, says Jason Smith from skysports.com. And the manager timeline is what the manager timeline is. This is our new attacking fullback that we've got coming in on a free transfer. Yes, I am still going to be looking for some bargains. I think that's important for us. He is 29 years old. He's coming in on a 3-year contract. He does have a minimum fee release clause of £11.2 million, but we'll get more into that in next week's episode. If we have a quick look at this, the players this is our all-time 11. Jensen in goal, Newton and Ben out wide with Rooney and Tipton in the centre of defence. Oh, the days of Rooney and Tipton. Antwi, Rowe and McArdle in midfield. Garrett will soon be in there, I don't doubt. Hagan and Hawkes out wide with Soji up top. That is our all-time 11. Nothing else left to show you here. That is fine. And that is pretty much all there is to show you for this episode. I've shown you the youth intake, so I don't need to show you that anymore. So yeah, join us next week, next Sunday at 2 p.m. as always. We've got some money to spend. I've also got some staff to bring in as well, because we've been given 1 extra coach, but it's now 2 because our goalkeeping coach, Vince Bartram, has retired. We can bring in a few more scouts as well, a couple of physios, a sports scientists. So we'll be sorting our staffing out ready. I've not done anything yet. I want to wait until the season ticks over for the Premier League. But yeah, join me next week to see if we can avoid relegation from the Premier League and what lovely, lovely new signings we can bring into the club. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next Sunday for the next one. Bye-bye.